Hi everybody, Raging back with another Mechabellum video. Sometimes you're building carry Fang and everything just goes perfectly. And that's this game. So my opponent here, Pentacles, is going Fire Badger Specialist. And I have my eyes set on the Giant Specialist here with the Steel Balls and the Fangs. Now, I don't really like starting with Steel Balls and Fangs. I think that they pair very awkwardly. One moves slow, one moves fast. The Steel Balls are short range. The Fangs sort of are a ranged unit. And so because of that, and also being Giant Specialist, I sort of already have my mind set on going carry Fang. Like, I'm going to probably just get some fortresses, right, with some barriers and put them in front of the Fangs. So you can see that I start to put the Fangs here on the left side. And when I go carry Fang, I like to keep the Fangs kind of close like this. So usually I'll leave either 1 or 2 spaces between them. That way they collapse together. Whereas, you know, if you spread them out too much, they don't do enough damage, especially early. You need them sort of together. So that's why I have them like this. I've also picked up some crawlers, and I'm going to be putting those behind my steel balls that I've put out on the outsides. I like to put the steel balls on the outsides, but also I'm sort of thinking, since I'm going carry Fang, I'm probably going to be getting out of the balls anyway. And if they do anything, that's great. But if they don't, no big deal. My opponent is Fire Badger Specialist, and he has Tarantulas, Marksman, and he's put some Fangs in front of his tower, which is a good idea against the Steel Balls, since the Steel Balls will rush in and they'll take a long time to clear the Fangs. And this here, these Fangs, they're set up this way with the intention of getting some fortresses or, you know, some big bodies in front of them. Just sort of shuffling them around a little bit. And with these Fang carry games, it really does take a little while to ramp up, so you'll probably end up losing 4, 5 rounds even, but once it comes online, it's pretty difficult to stop. And these Fangs are going to have a real tough time taking out the Tarantulas. Just too much HP. So round 1 will go to my opponent. And on round 2, Fortified Hacker pops up. And so I had the idea of going fortresses, right? I'm going to put some fortresses in front of these guys. But now I can actually just go Fortified Hacker. Fortified Hacker has 500% HP, so it has like 20k HP from the get-go. And you can see I've already unlocked it. I've sold the steel balls on the right side as well, since they're really not doing much for me. We have revealed our hand. Obviously, this is the plan. We're going Fortified Hacker. And I kind of wish that I ran multi-target on the Hacker, but I have Electromag Interference instead, so I might swap that out to multi-hack after playing this game. My opponent has decided he's going to missile the steel balls that were over here on the right, but they're not there anymore. So that was a pretty good sell, I guess. And he's grabbed the laser sight and got another Tarantula, as well as some Fangs, and stuck them here on the left to meet my steel balls. Also has his free Fire Badgers. So my right side will just get totally cooked. I also take the attack enhancement and I flank with some Fangs. So now the Fangs are doing a little more damage, and this guy should be able to tank a little bit for the Fangs. See how this goes. It does. He has 19,500 health. So my goal here is just keep charging up my board, try and get the Fangs down, get the Hackers in place, and hopefully at some point, I'll be taking range and mech rage, and it will all just start going well for me. But for now, we are losing these rounds. And actually, that's a pretty steep loss. I would prefer not to lose that much health. And again, this is like, from the get-go, the game has decided that it's going to support my decision to go carry Fang. And one of my favorite cards with carry Fang, and also, honestly, with the Fortified Hacker as well. The Fortified Hacker has 13 movement speed. So with the advanced power system, all of my units will be moving forward. So the collapse of the Fangs and the hackers and all of my units will just be that much quicker at a certain point. And mostly what I'm deciding right now is if I want to go speed or if I want more units with additional deployment. My opponent has grabbed additional deployment and has decided to grab some Phoenixes. I guess because they hit a little harder, he wants to use them to kill the hacker sooner. But he does already have Marksman and Tarantula. I think that the Phoenix is a little redundant with the Marksman, personally, against what I'm showing here. Because I'm not showing much, right? I'm just showing some Fangs. I have these steel balls, and I have a single hacker. And my right side, honestly, just it walks to die over here. So I don't think he needs the Phoenix. If anything, what he might want to start thinking about, since he has Fire Badgers, is putting some Fire Badgers over here on the left, and then also possibly thinking about Napalm. That way, he can get fire all over the ground, and my Fangs will, in theory, eventually walk through it. I grab another hacker on round 3 here and immediately go barrier. And so since my right side is dying so quickly, I just sell the crawlers on my right side, since it seems like I'm just abandoning it, right? Going fully to the left. Now, I could have just sold my steel balls that really weren't helping me out that much, but I kind of want it because this tarantula is a little tough to kill, and if we can actually get in there, the steel balls will be able to take that guy. So that's why I sell these crawlers. I sell the crawlers because I need money to get another unit, because I can't get barrier and another unit, and the crawlers just keep dying anyway. So I pick up another Fang, and I sort of start to make a little box. Let's see how we can do here with 2. So we're sort of getting close to being able to hack this guy, right? But we can't quite do it yet. And I was just talking about the steel balls taking out that tarantula over there on the left, and it was able to do that. I was also saying that I didn't really like the Phoenix pickup, but it was able to kill my hacker, so it's not that bad. And actually, that's a pretty clutch kill right there. So the steel balls that I left were able to take out 2 of the tarantulas, one of them with the laser sight. So I'm kind of glad that I left that guy. We have some pretty good options here. The Rhino looks good with the speed that I've picked up. The Mustangs are a little redundant for me with the Fang, since I'm going carry Fang, so not going to be grabbing the Mustangs. The Sabertooth is the one that is sticking out to me here, mostly because I'd really like to take out this tarantula in the one closest to his tower on the left, since it's the one I'm getting hung up on the most, and it's the one that has level 2. So, yeah, I'm deciding between the Rhino and the Sabertooth. My opponent picks up another pack of Phoenix to do the same thing that the one here did. Shoot these hacker barriers down, and also potentially maybe kill these steel balls. You can see he's missing out these steel balls again because they did so much last time. I do go with the Sabertooth. And I really would love to take out this tarantula. But now, since he's picked up the Mustangs, I'll probably get stuck shooting them a little bit before I get to the tarantula. And I go range on the fangs. Ideally, I'd like to have had range on the fangs last turn, but because I have Fortified Hacker, the barriers seemed more useful to me. I take level 2 on the steel ball since it did well last time, and now with level 2, it won't die to a missile. It will get slowed, but it won't die to it, so it still has the potential to kill this tarantula on the left. And then I sort of just grab some protection fangs, some late arriving ranged fangs in case he tries to flank me. So let's see how well this Sabertooth does this time. You can see it is shooting the Mustangs that he just placed. But now the fangs have range. So this Sabertooth is stuck for a long time, but it does eventually get the tarantula. And now that it has, it's able to take the tower. The fangs are able to take out the phoenixes since they have range. He's going to the left a little more than I would prefer, but the saber was a pretty good pickup. You can see that it almost leveled, and it's level 5. It did a lot of work there. And the fangs are taking out the phoenixes and taking out these marksmen. So we were taking a lot of damage on the first few rounds, and now we're taking less and less as time goes on. And that's the thing with these Fang compositions, or these carry Fang games, is they do take a while to charge up, but once they get going, they're really strong. All right, so we take like 400 damage there. The orbital jab looks good for me. The wasp swarm I'm not too worried about because I have the fangs. My opponent goes with the orbital jab. The barrier doesn't suit me since I have no giants. I'm a giant specialist, but I've decided I'm going hackers. And the fortified Mustang is kind of good for my opponent, but it's not that great, so he does go with the orbital jab. And so the orbital jab is also kind of sticking out to me since these three are a little not that good. And really, I want to kill that tarantula. I also suspect that he will be orbital jabbing this exact spot that he's decided to hit, since it is my strongest little pocket of units, and these are close enough where he can get the saber almost dead and kill the hacker. Anticipating that, I'd like to get some more hackers to counteract the auto kill of the orbital Jeff. Decide to level the Sabertooth. And I sell the steel balls. I've decided that I'm just going to orbital jab this tarantula on the left and then use the money to upgrade my units and take mech rage on the fangs. So my opponent has grabbed some more phoenixes for the right side because he wants to fly over and take this tower sooner, since most of his units are being pulled to the center. And I replace the steel balls with a hacker over here on the left, and then I just grab myself another Fang. Now that we have mech rage, oh, I also put this Fang here because of the wasp swarm. Just in case he wasp swarms me, I have a Fang here to kill him. And with range and mech rage, they win that fight. So let's see how we do with mech rage. Now we will be orbital jabbed here. But I did level the saber, so it's still alive. But again, it's stuck shooting these Mustangs. And now actually the crawlers are getting in like they weren't before because I javelined that tarantula. Okay, so now we've taken the tower. And these fangs are cruising. 17 meters per second on the fangs. Because I also hit speed. Alright, now we're stealing his marksman. And look at these fangs. Like, there's only a few left here, right? But they're really, really cooking. And this Phoenix is stuck on this for a while. We're taking out basically everything. Even with tower debuff. we're still going to get this Phoenix dead. So now we're really not taking much damage at all. Only 200 on that one. So each round it's been less and less and less damage. And then Bear just delivers elite Fang to me. And it was at this point that I remember messaging my opponent and just being like, wow. Because I knew the moment I saw elite Fang, I now can just recruit level 3 Fangs all over the place. And I already have the perfect techs in place. This hacker was able to level, so now we've got 40,000 shield on this guy. I sell the big Sabertooth since it just keeps getting stuck and it's not doing what I need it to be doing. And our Fangs are big enough now where we don't really need them to be killing the Tarantula since the Fangs can do it. And from this point, I'm just going to be grabbing some more hackers and loading up on the level 3 Fangs. I've decided to throw one here in the center. I am mass recruiting another one and continuing to create the box of Fangs and hackers. I put the level 3 Fang here behind the right tower, just in case he just tries to flank me or something to kill the tower sooner. And I also level the tower to 3, so there will be no cheesing this tower. Opponent has grabbed the Photon Emission. It's a pretty good pickup, just in case I do decide to go Ignite. The Ignite will not work on these units on this turn. He's also decided to grab a Melting Point. I think that's not a terrible pickup, but putting it way back like this is not as good. I think he could have slotted it in maybe right here or even right here and gotten Electromag Barrage to take down these shields on the hackers. So not a terrible pickup, but not very good positioning. So let's see how this goes now. I've taken the temp range and the temp speed because I am fully confident that my build is online. Let's see if I'm right. So we are taking down all of his chaff, and we're actually deleting Fire Badgers, stealing the Tarantula. It's happening all so fast now. It's going very well for us, and it is no longer going well for our opponent. The build has come online, and this is what happens with these Fang builds, is suddenly it's amazing. Because everything that I need is in place. And also the elite Fang is just broken, since I already have the perfect techs. So we're on round 7, and we are offered some chunky rhinos, Farseers, Typhoons, and Overlords. The Rhinos look good since I have this speed comp going. The Typhoons I already have the Fangs. The Farseer is, honestly, it shoots so slow that it's just not going to pair well with my Fangs. Overlord is an idea. I'm deciding between Overlord and Rhinos. I think for my opponent, Rhino is not a good pickup. He picked it up for the money. You can see that he's decided to throw one here on the right, and he sold the other one. It looks like I've gone with the Rhinos as they are descending from the sky here. But I think that the Overlord was a better pickup for my opponent, since there is the off chance that I do click Ignite, and if he runs Photon Emission, he would be able to block the Ignite from my Fangs. Not that it really matters at this point, since they're doing so much damage, they're kind of just blowing through his guys already. But I still think Overlord would have been a better pickup for him than Rhino. And he's throwing the Rhino over here because he just wants to come kill this tower. But this is a level 4 Fang once I level it. And this level 4 Fang with Mech Rage and range will kill this level 3 Rhino single-handedly. We've seen this. I've seen this quite a few times where people try to use the Rhino to flank me when I'm going carry Fang. And the Rhino dies a devastating death. He's gone range on the Phoenixes. I guess he wants to keep them back a little bit away from the Fangs behind his tower so that they can not die as soon. But at this point, it's an uphill battle for him. So it's going to be really tough for him to stop this, especially since I have these chunky rhinos, which again are great bodies to just run forward, take towers, and then continue the collapse of the fangs across his board. I've gone with the elite recruit on a hacker. Also, my opponent has gone high explosive on the tarantulas, wants to blow up my fangs more efficiently. But again, he needs to be able to get through these hacker barriers. So, like I said last round, I think that, so he goes range on melting point. I think that electromag barrage and maybe a line of melting points just to take down the shields on these dudes is a lot better than whatever this idea is for. I'm not really sure actually what it does. And I go temp range and temp speed again. Just sort of continuing to create the line of hackers and fangs. And at this point, I'm fully confident that I'm going to win this game. It is just a matter of time. I decide to mobile beacon the rhino to the tower. Now, it seems like these hackers and fangs will walk forward like that, but since there are things in the path, only the rhino will walk forward, which is what I want. And the rest of these units will hang back as long as there's units in the path of the mobile beacon. And again, like I said, these fangs will just kill this, but also into hacker, now we have another level 3 rhino. And we've already taken the tower over here on the left. And it's not looking good. He needs fire. He really desperately needs fire on the ground. And he has a lot of the right units to accomplish fire on the ground. That's a huge round. Oh my god. That's like, we almost just win in that one turn. So my eye goes to, there's lots of good choices here. Not the mobile beacon, but these other two are pretty good. The laser sight, I can make like a gigafang. The electromag, I can obviously take down some techs on his guys. But quick supply, or I'm sorry, quick cooldown is what I go with because I get the orbital javelin back. It'd just be nice to, you know, blow up a good little pocket of his guys. Also, on that last round, I forgot to mention this, sorry. My opponent grabbed 3 Stormcallers, and I do see that he has the incendiary bomb on the Stormcallers, and I fully expect him to be teching that on this turn. But since I have such a wide formation now, I am betting that it's not going to, so I'm not going to do anything specifically against it. But I'm betting that my wide formation like this will be able to overcome the fire, even if he decides to go with it. And on this round, he's picked up 4 packs of fangs and goes shield. I don't like the fang shield play from my opponent here because my fangs are going to blow through those guys anyway. Yes, it will take an extra shot. So you can see fangs have 117 and my fangs do 204 damage. So they're one-shotting fangs typically. And now it will take 2 shots. But it's still, that's so fast. There's got to be a better play. Like he could have gotten 4 units of Stormcallers with fire instead. And I think that that would have worked out for him a lot better and he could have spread it all the way across the board. So, not a huge fan of this play. It will slow me down a little. I'll give that to him. So, what I'm deciding now at this point is where to put the orbital jav. Do I want to javelin this here on the left or these Stormcallers? And it looks like I'm going with killing the melting point, the Mustangs, and the tarantula here. I've put all of these buttons. I have temp range, temp speed. I've loaned because I think I'm going to win this turn. And I've elite recruited 2 more hackers and another level 3 Fang. And now we have hackers across the entire front of the board. I've also taken the attack enhancement 2. So now, for example, these level 5 Fangs are doing 414 per shot. I also take the defense enhancement, level 2. And actually, I thought of doing that because if he takes fire, they'll be able to survive for at least 3 seconds, since fire does 350 damage per second. So now my fangs will live for 3 seconds. I also grabbed some oil, and it's not going to work, but I just throw it there just to spend my money. Let's see how the last round goes here. Should be a stomp. And look, the fire actually is good, right? So if he'd spread out and put fire across the board, you can see my fangs definitely are dying. Obviously, it's not going super well for him. I do have lots of beefy hackers. And so that is the game. So my opponent had some good ideas here on the last round. I like the fire on the Stormcallers, though I would have gotten more Stormcallers if that was the idea, and not the Fangs. I think that the shielded Fangs don't work very well against my Fangs, since my Fangs have mech rage and range. They shoot really fast, so they're going to be able to clear through these Fangs of his with the shields anyway. The fire, as we saw in the last round, was actually working kind of well. So if he had spread them out, he would have been able to burn a lot more of my Fangs, which would have given me potentially not enough upshoot to take out his Phoenixes, though I still think that I would have gotten through. Since these hackers have 42,000 health and 40,000 barriers at level 2, they're pretty chunky. They're like level 2 fortresses without shields, basically. But they have shields, so that kind of makes them have the same HP. So this was a very fun game for me. Going carry Fang is the pinnacle of fun for me in this game. When it works, it is super satisfying. It's funny to use a chaff unit as your main weapon. And we were a giant specialist, so the plan was to stick a bunch of fortresses in front of the Fangs. But on round 2, the game just said, here's some fortified hackers. You're already going carry Fang, so why not just use hackers? And I've never had this many fortified hackers before. It does take a while to get going. Obviously, you saw that I lost like the first 5 rounds of the game. But once it comes online, it just stomps. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.